Hi everyone, it's Renee from Raw Branded. I'm just checking to make sure everything's working this time because I just went live before and my laptop decided to die, of course. So these things happen. But as I mentioned before, this is Renee from Raw Branded. And if we haven't met before, tech glitches and all, I help creative entrepreneurs to craft their brand story so they can stand out and attract their ideal clients, right? So when I'm saying brand story, by the way, I get a lot of questions about what is that. So just so you're crystal clear on what a brand story is, it's everything that makes up the experience with your brand. It's everything. So it's who you are as a business owner, right? There's that piece of it. There's also what you do in your business. That's another, of course, an important part of your brand story is what you do. And then how you do it, because not everybody provides the same service in the same way, right? With the same experience. And then why you do it. That's the other piece too. It's your why. Why? Why do you do what you do in your business? What's that story? Because you want to tell your story because it humanizes the experience. It makes people connect with you, right? Because it's a story. You're telling your backstory and people can go, oh, I can relate to that. And that's why it's so important to bring that to the forefront. So all those things together, that all makes up your brand story. So it's both tangible and intangible. And so it's your website and your logo, all of those things, but then it's also the experience, the message, your tone of voice, all of those things too, right? All together, because that's the experience, right? So it affects everything that your clients will go through when they're encountering you, and it affects them now and also long term, right? So long as you are interacting with clients, trying to attract them now, later on, it's really important to have that brand story tight and right, because that's the constant experience that people will have, right? So that has to be clear. You have to make sure that picture that you're painting is crystal clear. And the other thing is people. We as people, we want to do business with other people, right? It's not just doing business with a brand in itself. Like, yeah, we say brand, but it's really people, especially for us small business owners, right? It's about communicating and relationship building and, that sort of experience. So it's really important to have your brand story, really drive your brand story. Don't just leave it up to people's assumptions, right? So now that you know what brand storytelling is, I wanted to share some tips with you today, your tips of the day. And I'm going to give you 2 tips today. I'm waving the purple pen as I do. I am giving you 2 tips today. That first tip is about placement. Keep this in mind. Placement. Where you're showing up online. Hopefully online, because, you're going to open the doors to being able to encounter your ideal client at some point in time, just because of, you're able to connect globally. Somewhere along the line, you're able to find your audience. So placement online, where you're showing up. And I'm flagging this as something for you to think about for today because, in the branding marketing world, there's this whole thing about, and we're not going to get techie here, but there's this whole philosophy, belief, proven, tried and true about product, place, and promotion. You've probably heard of this. If you have a business, you most likely know this about product, place, and promotion. Now, in the case of brand storytelling, the product is you, and your placement is where you're showing up online, and then the promotion is what are you doing to promote yourself, right? So when you're thinking of the placement piece, really think about, am I in the space where my client is? Period. Am I showing up in the right space, the right platform, the right social space, even down to the right groups? Am I in the right place? Think about that, because you want to be showing up where your audience is, right? It sounds simple, but a lot of times this isn't really thought of too often. placement. Where am I placing myself? Where am I showing up? So, for instance, if your audience is a bunch of videographers and you're not ever on YouTube, then I don't know what you're doing, you know? So, think about the placement of your amazing product, your amazing services. Think of that. Second tip for today. Think about how you're showing up. How are you showing up online? What is that like? So, are you infusing your unique tone of voice when you're talking to people? Are you really coming across as you? And this is so tough. I know I'm even guilty of this. You know, I tend to default because, you know, if you don't know me, you guys are new to me, but those of you guys who are in my group and have encountered with me know this, that my background is in academia. So I tend to even default into academic ease, but that's a whole nother language, and it's not like how we talk regularly every day, you know. So it's a matter of training yourself to really pull out your voice so people can hear you and easily connect with you, right? You're not sounding like a machine or a robot, you know. You're really sounding like you. So think of how you're showing up. Both physically, yes, that's part of your branding, all of the personal branding stuff. Physically, yes, logos, all of that, websites, but then also tone of voice wise, what is that experience with you? Give that some thought as well. So, that's what I want to leave you with today, to think about where you're showing up and how you're showing up, because those are the two things that are going to leave long-lasting impressions. They're not just first impressions. In fact, they're first impressions, but they're also long-lasting impressions. So think about that, because you're constantly going to be doing this as you're putting your business out there and you're promoting and you're connecting with people. It's going to be a matter of placement and how, you know, where and how. So give that some thought. So my question of the day, leave comments below, is where are you showing up and how are you showing up? Leave those comments below. I want to know, where are you telling your brand story? And if you still have questions, leave those questions below. I welcome them, and I'll be answering them, okay? All right? So I will see you next time. Bye.